This year is the year of change. I hope you're ready for this adventure called iLearn. Which of the following does not belong? A. Large green square, B. Large red circle, C. Large green circle, or D. Small green circle. Make sure you're able to justify your response. So, after taking a look at all four of those options, you really could have picked any one of them, depending how you justified your response. So this year is all about personalized learning. Personalized learning is flexible, anytime, anywhere learning. It doesn't just have to happen in the four walls of the advanced reading room. It is project-based and authentic learning opportunities. It is student-driven learning paths. It redefines the teacher's role. The teacher isn't always going to stand up front and tell you what to do. It expands the definitions of teacher and learner, and it's standards-based grading. Some of the key characteristics of personalized learning are the different types of instruction, the learning, how it can take place anytime, everywhere, utilizing everything that you do. Curriculum is dynamic and individually paced. The standards are rigorous, so we're working on 4th, 5th, and 6th grade standards depending what grade you're in. Learners are engaged in their education experience and they co-create their own customized learning path. Educators are facilitators and assessors and coordinators, and both individually part of an instructional team. The assessment is varied, relevant, and utilizes sophisticated systems to track, illustrate, and translate student performance data. So we're using Google Classroom to help us do this. It incorporates innovative practices such as performance-based e-portfolios, which we have, and feedback. Oopsies. Feedback occurs in rapid cycles and is objective, connecting to the learning goals and suggests the next step. So when you complete an evidence link, your teacher will give you feedback, usually in a one-on-one conference, on how you can improve or what you really did a great job on. So you need to embrace this discomfort. It's going to be a difficult journey, a roller coaster of ups and downs, but we're all in this together. So aim for success, not perfection. Never give up your right to be wrong, because then you will lose the ability to learn new things and move forward with your life. We are trying something brand new this year, so we are so lucky. Most students learn best when they can self-regulate their learning, set their own academic goals, and develop strategies that work for them, and reflect on their academic performance multiple times throughout the year. So these are all things that you're going to be doing this year. So how do I show my learning? The next few slides are going to be a whole bunch of resources to help you learn how to show your learning or give you ideas of tools that might help you do this. So this page is just a whole bunch of verbs that would be things that you could do. For example, you could illustrate something, you could identify it, you could judge it, you could imagine it, you could plan it. So those are just verbs to have you start thinking about different ways that you've shown your learning in the past and different ways you could show it in the future. This is Bloom's taxonomy pyramid. So it starts at remembering and it goes to understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, creating. So it's getting more complex as you go up. And these are just different tools, different technology tools that you could use if you're trying to analyze a piece of data or a text. If you're trying to apply the knowledge you learned about theme to a text. If you're trying to create something brand new. If you're trying to evaluate your classmates when they do speeches. So these are just some ideas of tools that go with those green words. Symbaloo is a great tool. So all of these Symbaloos are technology Symbaloos. So if you click on the link and go to it, you will see something that looks like this. You can click on these. All of these aren't the best. I found these. So we're just kind of using the ones that we like. So some of them could be helpful tools that you might be able to use to show your learning. If you don't like one, click on the next one. Okay, Stitch It, Rate Us, Today's Meet, okay, how to link things. So some of them are just tools. Here's some more Brain Pop, Quizlet. So Brain Pop could be a way that could be part of your journey. These are different things you could create. A Voki, Quizlet. We do a lot for vocab, Storybird. So these are some really good tools on this one. And then as you keep going through this, there's another whole page of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different symbols. So you just want to take time to explore those and see if any of those would be useful for you for showing your evidence. This page is just some tools you could use for digital storytelling. So Storyboard, Powtown, Glogster, Voki. So these are just some different things you could use to retell a story, to show that you've analyzed a story. A lot of the different learning targets could be done with these tools. This is just another resource for you, places to find informational text. So there's 13 different sites that might be helpful. So check them out if you have a chance. Formative assessment tools. So if you click on this link, it will just give you some more ideas for formative assessment. Kahoot, Infused Learning, Nearpod, that quiz. Okay, so there's about 7 or 8 of them that you could use to create a fun quiz or a fun game to show that you have learned something. Physical creation. So we don't, just because we're using a lot of technology doesn't mean we don't like paper creations, okay? So these are still some physical creation ideas that you could make. These are more online presentation tools, live presentations, and videos, okay? You could create a cartoon, you could make a play, you could make a video, slideshow, thinking routines, okay? You could use some thinking maps there. You could write a blog, you could make a song, you could solve a problem or create your own problem. You could do concept mapping. So those are just all of the things I've showed you in the past couple of slides are supposed to give you ideas to help you find evidence for the 40 learning targets that you are responsible for this year. Now the next couple slides we're going to walk through examples. So I read number 2. I can make logical inferences from a text. So I did a mini lesson on inferences with my teacher. I discussed differences between predicting and making inferences. I watched a YouTube on inference. So if you ever watch a YouTube video or some sort of clip, you want to make sure you put that link there. I practiced while reading The Secret Garden and Power of Light. And then I would list different times that I saw or found inferences in those stories. And my evidence for this was a homemade worksheet. So this is just an example. You can make a worksheet or make a quiz or make something to show that you can find inferences. So if you make a quiz or you make a worksheet, you also want to have the answer sheet so we know that you know the answers. That's just one idea. There's many ways to show this, remember. Number 4, I can determine central ideas or themes of a text. So last year the 4th graders read Bridge to Terabithia. We learned the most popular themes in literature. We discussed with classmates major ideas throughout the novel. When we read the end together so we could clarify, summarize, question, and predict. And then we have 2 projects for this one. One of my students wrote a eulogy which shows the theme of friendship and death in here. Okay, how you need a friend, and they expressed that the death, how Jess and Leslie dealt with that. And the other example is this theme graphic organizer. So you're focusing on the significance of the title, how the characters change, the emotions that you feel at the end of it, the mood of the story, and the message, okay? So that acronym helps you break it down and really get to the key components of the theme. Now we're going to look at some iWrite learning targets. So iWrite, I can develop and strengthen writing as needed by planning, revising, editing, rewriting, and trying a new approach. So the journey for this was I learned about the organization trait, I learned about the word choice trait, I did persuasive writing PowerPoints with Ms. Parati, I did peer revision and editing with a partner, I went over the rubric and sample writing samples, I, I took Ms. Parati's feedback and revised and edited, and I looked at an organization trait PowerPoint and transition examples to help me with my writing. Your evidence would be the final copy of the persuasive essay that you did for the change generalizations. So we're going to do a lot of writing this year, so there's going to be many opportunities where you will have more than one evidence link for this learning target. Number 5, I can gather relevant information from multiple print and digital sources. Learning, journey, I mean, learning the steps of research, practicing finding online sources for the topic Holocaust, learning ideas or good websites from my peers, and focusing on .org or .edu instead of .com. So my students last year, after we read Shackleton's Stowaway, they did some projects. So they did Wyatt did a PowerPoint on improvements in ships since 1992. So he found a whole bunch of data and he put it in his own words and presented this to the class. At the end, he had a bibliography. So in his bibliography, you can see that he had print sources as well as digital sources. This year, we are going to learn how to create a bibliography when we do our research. I speak. Okay, so the I speak learning charts, I can prepare for and participate effectively in a small and whole group conversation. So these are some things already that we've had small and whole group conversations about. So one of my students is going to keep track in a table of how often he participates during discussion and how often he asks questions. But there's many other opportunities that I'm sure you can think of how you can do this. So how is this evidence going to be graded? You're either going to get a 4, a 3, a 2, and a 1. And if you look at the page, you will see what each one of those represents. A 4 demonstrates academically superior skills in that area. The student shows initiative and challenges himself or herself and demonstrates this advanced knowledge. A 3 is something to be celebrated. Just because you don't get a 4, you shouldn't be disappointed. The student has proficient understanding and meets grade level expectation. They're right on track with our high academic expectations. A 2, a student with a 2 would have partial understanding and partially meets the standard. So if you get a 2 on one of your evidence links, you're going to be able to meet that evidence link at another time and relink something, okay? We're hoping that the learning targets have more than one evidence at a time. I know that seems overwhelming right now, but I know you can do it. So this is just a PowerPoint that really has some great resources in here for you to use. This is going to be on a Google Classroom, so you can look at it anytime to help you get ideas. Remember, ask questions as much as you can and keep being awesome. Alright, thanks. Bye.